Hello class, so this is the review and solution for the review questions, week number 4. Alright, so let's get started. So here when 3x minus 5 and is equal to 2y plus 8. So when you look into this one, we see 3x here and 3x here and 2y here and 2y here. Whenever things repeat, we need to pay extra attention because there may be meaning behind it, and there may be the meaning might be the relationship between those two. Now, then how can we get this from here? Now, one thing which you have to do is, if you have to subtract 2y from both sides, then you will realize that we will end up having 3x minus 2y minus 5 equals 8. Now, once again, what we want is this 3x minus 2y, not the 5, so we could add 5 on each side. Then what we end up getting is 3x minus 2y equals 13. Alright, there it goes. So therefore, our answer ends up being 13 right over here. Alright, let's look at number 2. Here we have, when you read this question, 7 times 2x minus 5 equals 63, and what is 2 times 2x minus 5? Notice that 2x minus 5 repeated. Now, in this case, we don't have to find out the value of x, but rather we're going to play with this expression, 2x minus 5. Now, as you can see, if you have to divide both sides by 7, then we will end up getting 2x minus 5 is equal to 9. Now, since that is equal to 9, we can substitute that value into this location. We end up getting 2 times then 9. That becomes our question, which is equal to 18. And there it goes. That's our answer. Alright. Number 3. Find the value or values of x where this is true. Now, what we talked about was this in class, where absolute value refers to distance. Now, this negative sign talks about the center of the inequality. And so that means we are looking for values of x from 4 has to be greater than 2. Now then, in that case, what we're going to be doing is this. What if we had to get the number line here? So we have, let me just get this one. So as we can see, from 4, this is the value 4. That becomes the center. Distance has to be 2. So that means if you go 2 units away, then we're talking about right over here. 2 units below, we're talking about right over here. But the distance has to be greater than 2. Greater, that means we have to go further out. So all these things could become our answer. There it goes. Very simple. All right. Let's look at number 4. Now, in this case, what we want to do is we want to express this one using the absolute value inequality. Then we will be using this one more time. 12. 12, in fact, actually, instead of this, let me try to use something else. So, here, what if I have to say this is 12? And I'm going to assume that each marker is 2. So this is 10, 8, 6, 4. This is 10, 8. This becomes 6, 4. How about that? All right. Now, but x has to be between those two. So we're looking at these values. Now then the question is this. Using absolute value inequality, our expression has to be x minus. Now, what is the center? Center is the midpoint between these two values. So where do you see the midpoint? Oh, right over here. That's the midpoint. Or we can simply use the average of those two endpoints to figure out the midpoint, which is our center, A. And then, since the distances is smaller, and when you look into the distances from 8 to 12 or 8 to 4, the distance is equal to 4. So this becomes our inequality. All right, let's continue. Number 5. Here, x squared minus y squared and x plus y. And x minus y. The relationship here is that x plus y times x minus y. This becomes the factored form of x squared minus y squared, and that's supposed to be equal to 35. Now, but on the other hand, we realize that x plus y was equal to 5. That means this portion is 5. Then let me ask you, 5 times what value will be equal to 35? Honey? Thank you. 7. Yes. 7 becomes the other value, which is the answer that which we are looking for. All right, let's move on. Here we have A over B and then B over C. And then when you look into the location of B's, they're quite particular, and the C is in the denominator and C is in the numerator. Once again, it happens. But what we're looking for is A is right here and A is right over here. And D was on the bottom and D was on the bottom. The question is this: what can we do to these three equations so that we can get A over D? Now, in fact, one way in which we can do it is this. A over B, to cancel out B, that's what we end up getting. And B's cancels out, you can see that. And instead of stopping here, we can multiply by C over D. Then what will end up happening is B's cancels out, C's cancels out, which ends up getting A over D. And what was the value of A over B? That was equal to 3. And B over C was 5. And C over D was negative 2. Then when you multiply all three, we'll end up getting negative 30. Therefore, negative 30 becomes our answer. All right, let's go for the next question. Here, in class, we mentioned that how A was common here. And we get a nice heart, you see. So therefore, this in fact becomes 1 plus B over A is equal to 4. That means B over A, in fact, becomes 3. Here, likewise, A and then C. So that means A over C plus 1 equals 5. That means we get A over C is equal to 4. Now, then what is C over B? Oh, but when you look into that, C was in the numerator, C is denominator, but A is here. Wait a minute, so what if we have to simply multiply those two things? B over A times A over C, just like the previous question. Then we would have gotten B over C. Likewise, in this case, we would have gotten 3 times 4. That B over C, that fraction would have been equal to 12. But what we are looking for is C over B, which means reciprocal of what we are just given. That means our answer becomes 1 over 12. That becomes our final answer. All right, now let's look into this one. This is sum of two numbers is equal to 12. Product is equal to 7. But wait a minute. What is that expression equal to? This is one of the popular expression. When you look into this one, this is equal to x times y. It becomes the denominator, and x plus y becomes the numerator. Having the common denominator of x and y, you'll end up getting something like this. Oh, but wait a minute. We just realized that x times y is equal to 7. So we write down the 7 on the bottom. X plus y was equal to 12. Just write it up. That's it. That becomes our answer. Hey, hey. Let's look at number 9. Now, here, if you were to approach this question from definition of absolute value, we get to see something like this. I'm looking for value of k, where the distance from 10 has to be equal to distance from negative 2. Wait a minute. Then if I have to use the number line, let us say one side is equal to 10, another side is equal to negative 2. regardless of what the division would have been. Let us say these are simply just two examples. Then where is the midpoint? In fact, what we can do is just like before, we can get the average of those two numbers. Now, then once you do that, then we end up getting 4 becomes our midpoint. That means 4 is 6 units away from 10, so is 6 units away from -2. Therefore, k must be equal to 4, which is equidistant away from 10 and -2. Alright? Here, what is the coordinate of x-intercept? Now, we are looking for x-intercept. Then here, what I'm going to do is this. Okay. Maybe I'll just look back. Okay. So here we have XY graph. Now, when 2, 5, so here we have 2, 5, 2, 4, 6, 2, 5. That's the point right over there. It's on this line. Now, when you look into this idea, this slope is equal to 5/3. Now, that means when x is moving 3 units, y is moving 5 units. It's positive value, 3 units, and then 5. It's going to be the next value right over here. Another, if I were to go to the left, 3 units to the left, 5 units. Oh, wait a minute. I'm getting something like this here. Alright, let's look into this one for a second. Then this becomes our line. Wait a minute. As you can see, it was no coincidence where this point that we end up getting is on the x-axis, because the difference between y axis was 5. It was meant to be, in fact, and then difference in x value is 3 by the slope. Then we get to realize that x-intercept has to be equal to -1. Or the coordinate of that becomes -1, 0. Alright, let's look at number 11. When the line is reflected about x-axis, in fact, whether it's reflected about the x-axis or y-axis, we're going to get the same result. The slope is always getting negated, so in fact our answer becomes -2. Alright, that's it for today, and have a great day, guys. See ya.